record. All righty. And so what I did was I broke down a case that I would have assigned. So this is going to be similar to the case that you all were assigned. And my case is Roy. And let's get to know Roy, right? Now, Roy, and what helps is just like stating the case, right? So all I did was copy and paste what the case was. Roy is a summer B admit who wants to be a microbiology or nursing major, and he would like to apply to medical school when he graduates. He took the ALEKS and scored a 90. He's very nervous about taking calculus and chemistry in the fall, so would like to start in MAC 1140 and Chem 1020. How would you advise Roy? Please explore all possible scenarios within this case study. Roy earned a 4 on AP Psychology, 4 on AP Economics, Micro, and a 5 on AP English Language, and a 3 on AP Biology. So that should be similar to the case you all were assigned. But looking just at what Roy presented us, what jumps out at you? What do you think is important?
What major he wants to be, and that he's summer B.
Okay, summer B. Also choosing between microbiology and nursing. What else jumps out?
I think that like he's very nervous about taking calculus and chemistry.
Okay, very nervous about taking calculus and chemistry. What else jumps out at you?
His ALEKS score and that he wants to apply to med school.
Okay, ALEKS, and he wants to apply to med school. Anything else?
I just think also taking into account his AP scores, that he is coming in with some incoming credit.
Okay, it's coming with incoming credit. I'm looking for one more thing.
He's a summer B admit, so he's
okay. Summer B
coming
admit.
early. Okay.
One additional thing. What else should we address? Why he would like to start in MAC 1140 and Chem 1020? Like, what do you know about those classes? Why those particular classes? Like, why did you choose those classes? Also, we know Chem 1020 is not the same as taking Chem 1025. If he wants to do pre-med, he would need to be in the Chem 1025 sequence, right? So that kind of jumps as a red flag. Now, in my case, my next slide is I pasted the slide again, and I just bolded what I thought was important. Summer B admit, microbiology nursing major, wants to go to med school, took the ALEKS, scored a 90, nervous about calc and chem, wants to start in 1140 and 1020, and as Logan mentioned, his AP scores. So my second slide was what the case is. My third slide was, okay, this seems like it's important. This is what I want to address as I move forward. Now, what I also went to was, let's talk about Roy's academic interests. He's a nursing major, microbiology major, and he's also pre-med, right? Am I missing anything? I think that's it. Like, he's a nursing major, microbiology major, and pre-med. Now, based off those academic interests, what questions come to mind for you? Or what would you want to address with Roy?
I think the first thing is nursing versus pre-med. I mean, that's one of the things that we talked about earlier, which is the two are not the same thing at all. Like nursing is like, if you want to go to med school, that's just a totally different track from nursing. So I think that's something you may want to talk to in the beginning. And then if he was actually thinking about how it's two different tracks, then you could see which one he'd probably prefer to do. Or if he really wants to pursue both of them at the same time.
What if he doesn't know? What if he needs time to decide? Does he have to make a decision now?
Nope.
No, he doesn't. Go ahead, Logan.
Sorry, I was also gonna hop in and say, like such as like what we went over today in class, like I believe it was HSC 3502. There are courses where he can explore different careers within the medical field, and to really help him make a decision on which career he would like to choose.
So my big takeaways before I get to my next slide was I definitely got to address the nursing and pre-med thing. There's something else that we have to address here. And it's about, I've already hit my nursing point. I've already hit my pre-med point. What do I need to address about microbiology?
Do you need calculus for microbiology?
Potentially. I'll get to classes, but on its surface, microbiology begs a question.
Would you ask why he chose microbiome?
Okay, why you chose microbiology? Sure, and I can we can get to that. But what do I know about microbiology?
Is it lockstep?
Not
No.
necessarily, not necessarily lockstep.
It has a lot of like
Microbiology's microbiology's in 2 different colleges.
It's in 2 different colleges. Why does that matter, Jonathan?
Because like College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, they require different courses because if not courses, like different classes that you have to take if you're in the college and then otherwise for the class.
Absolutely. And the key thing about some of the things in the college presentation are those are what should make your ears perk up, right? Microbiology, biology, computer science, digital arts and sciences all span several colleges. So if Roy Till's interested in microbiology, is that microbiology class or is that microbiology cows, right? And that's just one thing where there's only a certain majors that are housed in 2 colleges. So that's something I need to talk about with Roy, right? So my takeaway based off his academic interest is nursing versus pre-med. Eventually we're gonna make a decision there, right? And then microbiology, which college, and then pre-med following the pre-med track, right? Just general broad strokes. So I took this a step further and I said, well, things to consider. Here are my questions and things to consider. And I'm just going step by step. Here's the case. Here's what's important. Here's the academic interest. Based off those academic interests, what are the questions I have and what are things to consider? Microbiology, nursing. Why has Roy chosen these 2 majors as his primary interest? What about microbiology and nursing interests you, Roy, right? Roy should be mindful, cannot pursue a dual degree with nursing, right? So we'll eventually have to choose between these majors. Does Roy believe he has to choose one of these majors to be pre-med? How does pre-med fit into your major options? Because you can, pre-med is an intention and a state of mind. Is he choosing microbiology because he thinks he needs microbiology to be pre-med? And maybe he has a true interest in microbiology, but these are just questions that came to mind. Roy scored a 90% on the ALEKS. What's his background in math? Highest level completed in high school. What math did he take his senior year? How would he describe his comfort level, right? So I want to talk to him about his ALEKS experience. He's nervous about taking calculus and chemistry in the fall. Where is that anxiety coming from? How can I educate Roy on how UF uses placement to ensure we're properly placing our students, right? Again, talking about his background, talking about the ALEKS, talking about his previous experience, right? And how did Roy land on Mac 1140 and Chem 1020? Had he heard something about those classes? Is this self-diagnosed? Why those particular classes? My other question or things to consider is microbiology is offered in 2 colleges. It's offered in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, offered in the College of Agricultural and Life Sciences. First few semesters will likely be the same because that when majors are shared across colleges, generally those major classes are the same for the first few semesters. So it gives a student time to make a decision on which college they want to pursue. Primary differences between class and cows, the college requirements and the advising structure. Medical school, what type of medicine does Roy want to practice? And it's okay if he doesn't know at this time, but that may give me some more insight into course recommendations or electives. Does he have a preference between nursing and pre-med at this point? And that goes to Joey's first position. So we'll want to inform Roy, eventually he'll have to choose between pre-med and nursing. First semester, it's okay to do both, but what should lead the way? If Roy is doing pre-med and nursing initially, what is going to influence his classes, at least his science classes he takes? Between nursing and pre-med, which track do we follow?
pre-med.
Pre-med, why?
Because for nursing, it doesn't matter like what level of the course you take, but for pre-med it does. So you can like finish some of the pre-med courses.
Absolutely. It's kind of like Calc 1 versus Business Calc. If you take the pre-med classes, they will count towards nursing, but if you take the nursing classes, they won't count towards pre-med. So if you're in between, you go the route that would cover both, right? Do we get that point? All right. Those are my questions and things to consider. Then I wanted to break down Roy's incoming credit. 5 on AP English language, 4 on AP psychology, 4 on AP microeconomics, 3 on AP biology. What do you notice about the way I broke down the credits? His incoming credit?
you listed like if it's a general ed, a state core, and like how many hours and what class he would get credit for.
Detail, right? Detail. I'm going to be looking for detail. If you give me 401 AP psychology site credit, well, how many hours is that? What gen ed category does it meet? So detail is going to be important in your case study. So I broke down his incoming credit. And again, I encourage everyone to use the gen ed chart. All right. Now, based off my incoming credit, I knew that Roy was bringing in ENC 1101, ENC 1102, both composition classes, state core if I wanted, psychology and microeconomics. Is microeconomics a state core social?
No, not a state core.
Which economics is state core?
I think it's macro.
Why do you think macro is state core and micro isn't?
I'm not sure why. I just pretty sure macro is. I'm just not sure about micro.
There we go, Jacqueline. Global economics. So it applies to everybody. So economics, your state core is going to apply to all majors. Microeconomics, I might as well call business economics, right? So it only really applies to business students. So it wouldn't be state core. But that's just my trick to remember. Macro is state core because it's global. It applies. Micro is usually business economics. If you're taking microeconomics, you're probably an accounting, business, or sport management major, right? So macro, global, large scale. Micro, small scale, really that's business economics, all right? And I know that the business economics probably won't be state core, it won't be state core, but they're both social behavioral sciences, and then BSc 2005 in lab. Now, one thing I will look for and penalize you on if your hours don't make sense, all right? He got 6 credits of composition, total credits remaining for composition, 0. Humanities, 6. Math, 6. No more remaining for social behavioral science. And then BSc 2005, that leaves him 2 credits remaining for gen ed. Additional HSBRP, 6 credits, 3 credits, 3 credits. Now, microbiology is offered in 2 colleges. So not only did I break down general education, I broke down, then I went to remaining general education because it helped me build my schedule, right? 6 hours of gen ed math remaining, 3 hours state core. I should have put 3 hours pure math as well. 6 hours of humanities, state core and quest 1, 3 hours of gen ed biological and physical, 6 hours of additional HSB or P, 3 hours of gen ed diversity, gen ed international, which that should feel comfortable at this point. Putting in a student's incoming credits to a gen ed chart and pulling out what's left, we should be able to get from step A to step B, right? And if we don't, we just need to do more practice with that, all right? Now, being that this student is interested in a major in class, I also broke down the basic distribution and what that changes. Namely, liberal arts and sciences requires 9 hours of humanities. Liberal arts and sciences require 9 hours of social behavioral science. Liberal arts and sciences requires 12 hours of science. 6 hours must be biological, 6 hours must be physical. That's the basic distribution. 9 hours of humanities, 9 hours of social behavioral science, 12 hours of science, no matter what your major is, all right? So I broke down both. I broke down general education, I broke down basic distribution, depending on what decision Roy could make, all right? Now, bringing it back to majors, I looked at critical tracking term 1. Critical tracking term 1 for nursing, I listed the classes, then I broke down critical tracking for microbiology in class. I made a note that class and CALS critical tracking are absolutely the same. So does he have to choose a college? Like if Roy chooses class, but ultimately wants CALS, would he fall behind in any way? No, so that's just a recommendation. Attend the college session, meet with an advisor. Eventually you'll want to decide which college fits your needs, but for first semester, either college is fine, all right? What I also did was I did another critical tracking slide to notate what credits Roy already has. Now, Roy brought in PSY 2012 credit, brought in BSc 2005 credit. So he has these tracking classes met for nursing. Red bolded courses that indicate fulfilled with incoming credit, semester 1 tracking for nursing already met. If Roy already has semester 1 tracking met for nursing, what does that do for his fall schedule? How would you advise Roy based off that information? because he's already got tracking met for semester 1. Based off that information, what would you tell Roy? All right, we got some action in the chat. Take more critical tracking classes. He has a chance to explore classes if he wanted to. I like both of those, right? Now, Jacqueline, to your point, it's take more tracking classes if appropriate, but regardless, he has tracking met for semester 1. And I've got a student that's interested in nursing and microbiology. So if we got to put more attention to microbiology, I can reassure Roy, no matter what, he'd be on track for nursing. Like if he takes microbiology classes in the fall and then decides he doesn't like it, well, guess what? You're already on track for nursing anyway. So if a student has met tracking and they're interested in that major, give them that carrot, give them that attaboy, right? Like, hey, you've already got tracking met for nursing. That frees us up some room to focus on microbiology. And going into semester 2, if you want to focus more on nursing based on your experience, you'll be right on track. Does everyone see that? So if a student meets tracking for a major they're interested in, confirm that with them. Hey, looks like you already got tracking met. That's going to free us up, as Jacqueline stated, to take more critical tracking classes, or as Megan stated, that's going to give us an opportunity to explore other classes. But what you're going to run into, and I'm not going to stop sharing my screen, but what you're going to run into is students are going to be so anxious to make sure they're doing the right thing. They're going to be so anxious to make sure their classes are counting or that they're going to be in good shape. If you can see something like, oh, you've got tracking met for this major already, awesome. Like, go ahead and confirm that, because that'll ease some tension. That'll ease some tension. Like, hey, you know what? I'm already in good shape for this major. I already got tracking met for this major, and it'll give us more flexibility, right? Now, moving forward, pre-med considerations. So I'm gonna backtrack, right? All I've done so far was I took their academic interests, I broke down what concerns I have, I looked at their incoming credit, did a gen ed chart, did remaining general education, broke down basic distribution, broke down critical tracking for their majors. The other thing I have left to address is, how does pre-med fit in? And you want to get in the habit of addressing pre-med and pre-health separate from the major. Treat it like it's its own thing. And then there will be times where it overlaps. But treat major tracking, general education, incoming credit evaluation, and then approach the pre-health evaluation, and then find where there's overlap, right? Now, what's going to happen is I just put a few reminders. Hey, Roy, pre-med is more than just science classes. Join the pre-health listserv, research opportunities, shadowing opportunities, volunteer opportunities, increase your ethical and social competency. That's a great way to use your electives. Just things I want to remind Roy about. But what I really want to focus on, if you're going to be pre-med, that means you are planning on following this sequence of classes. What are the first classes we work a student into if they are pre-health? They have a pre-health interest. What's our target? Chem, right, chemistry 1. Chemistry 1, we're working you to get into chemistry 1. Now, what should every pre-health student's first semester include?
A math and a science.
A math and a science, absolutely. So when you remember just those constructs, if you're pre-med, how can I get you to chemistry based on placement? Also, if you're pre-med, we want to have a math or chemistry, a math and a science on your schedule. Now, Graham, what if that student places in the MAC 1105? Do I still need to put a math and science on their schedule?
The rule is a math and a science the first semester, so yes, you do.
So I'm glad you answered that way, because a math and science, if appropriate, if a student is taking MAC 1105 or they're taking MAC 1140, is it appropriate to add a science class with those?
MAC 1105 and well, those aren't. Wait, he's taking one of those two?
Yeah, it's taking one of those. Student places in 1105 or 1140. Should we add a science class with one of those math classes?
No, I don't think so because for one thing, lining up our Calc 1 for the semester before our first chem class, but also some of our classes may require that you've already completed those. So it'd just be better to focus on them. I don't know.
Absolutely. So to kind of put that simply, for a pre-med student or pre-health student, we want a math and science in their first semester if a science recommendation is appropriate. If you're starting in MAC 1105, we just recommend a math. If you're starting in MAC 1140, we just recommend a math. But if you can place in the intro to chemistry, or if you can place in the chemistry one, we recommend a math and a science. But even if they don't place into the science threshold, we just recommend a math. So what that would look like is students in MAC 1105, they just take MAC 1105. Students in MAC 1140, they just take MAC 1140. Or then they go MAC 1114 and Chem 1025. If a student's in MAC 1147, we recommend Chem 1025. If a student is in Calc 1, we recommend Chem 1025, or if a student's in Calc 1, we recommend Chem 2045 sometimes, right? But essentially, we recommend a math and a science. Unless you're in basic college algebra, then we don't recommend a science. Or if you're in MAC 1140, we don't recommend a science till you get to 1114. But if you're in 1147, or if you're in 2311, we would recommend a math and a science. So I say the common structure is a math and a science for a pre-health student if they place in the intro to chemistry or Chem 1, all right? So I want to talk to Roy about, hey, if you're going to be a pre-health student, you want to start with Chem 1. You also need to take MAC 1147 or Calculus 1, depending on your major, okay? And statistics is there. We got psychology and sociology as an elective, but I'm just going over some of the pre-med classes, and I'm focusing on how I can get the student to Chem 1. I'm also focusing on my math, all right? Now, more advising considerations for Roy. For class, you got the foreign language, basic distribution, and electives. For CALS, public speaking, advanced communication, and economics college requirements. Nursing versus microbiology. Microbiology has a higher level STEM courses, so you want to follow the microbiology, science, and math recommendations. You can complete microbiology in pre-med, but not nursing in pre-med. Will that impact what Roy decides? Maybe, right? Like you can do microbiology in pre-med, but nursing in pre-med, you'll need to make a decision. And then I want to discuss the math and chemistry placement. Talk to Roy about his math background, explain Chem 1020 versus Chem 1025. What's the difference there? What's the difference between Chem 1020 and 1025?
Chem 10, oh, you got it, Logan.
Oh no, Joey, but you have a stronger answer. I believe is one for a specific, like Chem for a specific college, and then Intro to Chem is just an overarching. I don't know.
Chem 1020 is for liberal arts. It's Chem 20 for the liberal arts basically. It's like for non-majors, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I like non-majors. Now, okay, so Chem 1020 is for non-majors. What's Chem 1025 for?
Oh, that's Intro to Chem. That covers the first 6 chapters of General Chemistry 1 over the course of 16 weeks.
How many credit hours is Chem 1025?
3.
No, it's 2.
Oh, I lied. It's 2.
And
Nice.
if it's 2 credits, will it count in state core? No, it won't. Now, Chem 1020 is Chem for non-majors or Chem for liberal arts. Chem 1020 is also a state core physical science. Chem 1020 has no relation to Chem 2045. All right, it doesn't. The only friend of Chem 2045 is Chem 1025. So Roy mentioned this class, but I want to explain to him Chem 1020 doesn't relate to Chem 2045 at all. All right. And if you're going to be a microbiology major, we want to focus on Chem 1025. All right. Now, my projected summer B schedule, IDS 1161 or IDS 2935, a Quest 1 class, that's 3 credits, and EDF 3110, Human Growth and Development. Anybody know where I got that class from?
The nursing tracking courses.
Nursing tracking. I just went to nursing tracking. So to Jacqueline's point, this student already met nursing tracking. I can still dip in there if it's appropriate. All right. If you take a look at nursing tracking, you also see that EDF 3110 is recommended. Now, where did I get my backups from? How did I choose those backups?
It looks like you're just trying to fill in the gen ed course or the gen ed like chart thing.
Yeah, just remaining gen eds. I just, hey, you need a gen ed international, you need a gen ed diversity, you still need a state core humanities. But where do you think I found those options from? Where do you think I pulled cultural anthropology from? Where do you think I pulled the African experience from that you will be using at preview?
The preview workbook, the
The
freshman.
preview, absolutely, the preview workbook. The preview workbook. I went in the preview workbook. I made sure that those classes were offered in the summer, and I made sure they met those attributes. What can you guarantee, Ann, that every course in the preview workbook is? What do we know that every course in the preview workbook is?
They're appropriate for freshmen to take.
They are freshman appropriate. So do we want students? What else about any course in the preview workbook? What else do we know about any course in the preview workbook? Those are the courses that we've saved seats in. So a student might find an awesome history of Harry Potter class that they want to take. We want to stick to what's in the preview workbook. That's where we got seats. That's where we know what's freshman appropriate. So when you're given, or when you're asking a student to choose a gen ed diversity they're interested in, or gen ed international they're interested in, look in the preview workbook. Look on your preview list. Those are the classes that we know are freshman appropriate. Those are the classes that we've saved seats in. Anybody disagree with my summer recommendations? Is the student guaranteed to get my recommendation? No, that's why I have backups. I have backups because they may not be able to get my recommendations. Now, what about fall schedule? What do you see on my fall schedule? Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah,
Yep, we're just looking.
we're starting to move into classes that get a little bit more on track in terms of math and sciences, because Roy was nervous, but now that he's taken some intro, more basic classes in the summer B, he could take other classes in the fall.
Now, DJ, how do you think I landed on Mac 1147 and Chem 1025?
I think that you went down the path of classes like both. You need to have Mac 1147 and you need to have Intro to Chem in order to take Chem 1, which is where he's going eventually. And he was nervous to take chemistry. He was nervous to take chemistry 1. So you wanted to usher him in, kind of. So
I would of course explain this further, but do you remember what Roy scored on the Alex?
At 90%.
90%. So what math does he place in?
He probably places into Mac 1147.
So check
He does, yeah.
Check your resources.
Okay.
What does a 90 on the
Yeah.
Alex place a student into?
It could be 1140. Or
No,
I could
so
be wrong. I'll check my resources.
You all remember, if you don't remember any number for Alex, 76 is the magic number. If you don't remember any number in terms of Alex, 76 is the magic number. 76 places you into calculus 1. 76 allows you to take chemistry 1. And 76 means the chem prereq. So anything over 76, I'm in Calc 1 land and I'm in Chem 1 land, right? So if you don't remember anything about it, because you don't have to memorize Alex, remember 76. 76 and above, you can do nearly anything. You can take calculus or any math below calculus, or you can take you can meet the chem prereq for chemistry. So with the 90 on the Alex, how do you think I landed on Mac 1147? What would my thought process be here?
I mean, I think you were just taking into account him saying that he was nervous.
Yeah.
Because obviously he could opt to go straight into Chem 1, Calc 1, given his score on the Alex, but because he is trepidation, you want to put him into Mac 1147, prep him more directly.
Absolutely, because Roy told me that he was nervous, right? And so I can use that information. But at preview, if you have a student that scores 85 on the Alex, right? What 3 questions would you ask them to get a better feel for your math recommendation? First of all, what math can they take? They score 85 on the Alex. What math can they take?
Calc 1.
Calc 1. It's above 76, right?
Yeah.
Now, what 3 questions would help you get a better math recommendation?
When they last took a math course, how comfortable they feel with math, what kind of major, well, yeah, I guess not what major they want to go into, but
The major influences that, right? Like I'm only
Sure.
talking about Calc 1 because Calc 1 is needed for microbiology, which I looked at when building their schedule. But the 2 questions you asked were appropriate, but I break it down to 3. What's the highest level math you took in high school? Thank you, Jacqueline. What's the highest level math you took in high school? What math did you take your senior year? What's your comfort level with math? And what's the placement motto? What's our really it's our advising motto, but what's the placement motto?
We don't put people in classes, we just give them recommendations.
Well, yeah, I like that, right? Jacqueline, that's absolutely correct. There's a difference between what a student can take and what we recommend. All right. And you always want to start with what a student can do. Roy could take Calculus 1. My recommendation was Mac 1147 based on his thoughts, right? But if Roy told me he wanted to take Calculus 1, there's nothing I could do there. He could take Calculus 1, right? Any questions about my projected schedule or my backups? Why do you think I chose NDU 4003?
Because if he's interested in pre-med, then he's going to want a class that can introduce him to the professions of medicine and let him know like all the options that he has. And that's the best course to do that rather than intro to health professions or something.
Yeah, he honestly could have chose either. I could have took NDU 4003 or HSC 2000. But so yeah, absolutely, Joey. It's a class that can help him explore his interest. I have a student that's interested in between nursing or interested in medicine. Maybe they need to learn more about the medical field. All right. And I felt comfortable in that recommendation. Now, all right. I'm going to stop the recording in case my computer is recording this. You know, in the Avengers, when Thanos snaps his finger and like things start to disintegrate, that's my computer right now.